Hey guys, it's Jacob here again. I was thinking about something today, and you guys can let me know what you think. Let me know if you think I'm nuts or not. But I was thinking about technology and how it's being used on the people side of things. And let me just tell you kind of the train of thought I was going in with this, and you guys can let me know if you agree or not. I remember 2 years ago, I interviewed Nolan Bushnell for an episode of the Future of Work podcast. And for those of you who don't know, Nolan Bushnell is the creator of Atari. He also created Chuck E. Cheese's, he created uWink. I mean, an amazing entrepreneur. He's done a bunch of really cool things. And when I was interviewing him, he was telling me about the first time he hired Steve Jobs. So Nolan Bushnell was actually the first boss of Steve Jobs. And he was telling me the story of how when he first met Steve Jobs, he basically offered him a job the same day after just interacting with him for a couple hours. And so he immediately just shook his hand across, reached his arm across the table, shook his hand and said, "You're hired." Today, when we are going through the hiring process, we hear stories of it taking months, 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, a year, depending on the role that you're looking to fill. And we've also relied so much on technology. I mean, today, for a lot of companies now, when you want to apply for a job, you got to go through this entire process. You submit a resume, the resume is scanned through by a bot, by a piece of software. If it doesn't find the right things on there that it wants, it kicks you to the curb. A lot of companies want you to play a game now, like an actual game on your phone or on your desktop that measures your soft skills and even some of your hard skills. For example, empathy. Are you cool-headed? And part of me wonders if we've gotten to this point where we're getting a little technology crazy. So what happened to the Nolan Bushnell days where you meet somebody like Steve Jobs and you just offer them a job with a handshake after knowing them for a couple hours? A lot of people would say, well, yeah, but today technology helps you remove bias, all that sort of stuff. It's true. But I think maybe we're getting a little bit crazy on the technology side. If it's taking you 4, 5, 6 months to hire one person, I gotta be honest, I think something's wrong. I have a team of 10 people that I work with. I hire people within, 24 to 72 hours. Right? I use a freelance marketplace. I interview them. I hire them right away. Now, of course, I have a small business for a large global company. It's obviously not going to be the same thing. But it just really makes me wonder if we've gotten a little bit too crazy on the technology side. We also don't think about it from the perspective of the prospective candidate. I mean, imagine you're applying for 10 different jobs. 10 different companies want you to play 10 different games. You're interacting with 10 different algorithms. You're submitting 10 different resumes. And it's just, it's kind of mind-boggling. It's kind of crazy. And a lot of people don't even apply for 10 jobs. They apply for 20, 30, 40, 50 jobs. So you can imagine that from the from the candidate perspective, it gets a little wonky. And basically all of this whole video is just a little rant to force us to think more about the human side of bringing in people into our company. In other words, how refreshing would it be for a prospect, for a candidate, when they want to apply for you, you actually talk to them. You don't immediately start saying, hey, play this game. We need you to take this assessment. We need you to go, blah, 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 interact with this algorithm. You're just kind of like, come in, let's take you out to lunch. We're just going to talk and see if it's a good fit. I kind of miss those days. And the more and more I talk to employees and the more and more I talk to business leaders and executives on my podcast or just companies that I'm advising or working with, the more I hear that they are trying to balance this kind of line between technology and the human side of work. So question for all of you, where do you think that balance is? How do we make sure that we can use technology to make sure we're bringing in the best and the brightest people, but at the same time, not make sure that we're going a little bit too crazy with technology where we lose the human element? And again, all this started back in the day from Nolan Bushnell when he hired Steve Jobs within a couple hours of knowing him. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.